While finishers are supposed to be impactful moves that are capable of finishing a match, some WWE wrestlers have had incredibly silly finishing moves that were hard to take seriously. Throughout WWE's history, there have been tons of different finishing moves that have had varying degrees of success and effectiveness for the performers using them. While the likes of the RKO and the Stunner look brilliant and can be taken seriously, many have ended up being silly instead. Some of the sillier finishes in WWE's history have still managed to get over, while others ended up being too goofy for audiences to truly buy into. Fans typically want to see impactful moves that they can buy into as a finisher, therefore anything that's too silly ends up being a risky move for someone to land on. Welcome to Warner Wrestling Club, and in today's video we'll be counting down the 10 silliest finishes in WWE history. However, before we crack on with the list, I'd just first like to thank you for choosing to spend a bit of your day with us and for watching this video. And I'd like to take a moment to ask you, if you are new here, to be sure that you click the subscribe button and the notification bell to make sure you never miss out on any of the content we do here at Honor Wrestling Club. Welcome to the club. Now, without further ado, let's crack on with the list with number 10, the Cobra. Santino Marella was a comedic wrestler. Therefore, it isn't a huge surprise that his finisher ended up being one of the silliest in WWE's history. He brought out a sock puppet themed to a snake, which he would pump up and then pretend was a real snake that would strike his opponent. Morel himself would act scared of the snake itself in an attempt to get it over, and all the wrestlers who took the move bumped for it. However, the entire thing was ridiculous to watch and was something that couldn't possibly be taken seriously, and it only really worked because Santino was a lower mid-carder at best. In number 9, we have the rear view. Naomi is a very gifted performer and someone who has fantastic athleticism, which means she could easily create a fantastic finishing move if she wanted to. However, for some reason, she opted to go with the rear view, which sees a leap up and smash her rear end into her opponent's face. Not really, if we're honest, it's her opponent running into her backside. It's a move that wrestlers have ended up bumping for, and the fact that Naomi has won several titles with it has helped to add some legitimacy to the move. However, it doesn't stop it from being a stupid move overall, as it doesn't look quite as impactful as others. In number 8, we have the WMD, performed by the Big Show. The idea of being punched in the face by someone the size of the Big Show is something that can certainly be taken seriously as a finisher. If he was legitimately punching people, there's a very good chance he would knock them out, but that wasn't what made this move silly. It's the fact that so many wrestlers would throw punches, and they weren't sold to this degree, that made this feel out of place. Even Big Show would do it, but it only made a big difference when he loaded up the punch and truly sold the idea. And at number 7, we have the Battering Ram by the Bushwhackers. The Bushwhackers were an entertaining tag team, and the focus of everything that they did was comedy. They were cartoonish characters, and that's something that managed to work for them positively, as it helped them to get over as characters. Even if the focus wasn't on the in-ring aspect of the business, that much was clear when it came to their finisher, the Battering Ram. One of them would hold the other and simply run them headfirst into their opponents. But it's something that didn't look impactful and just had to be laughed at. And at number 6, we have the slowest sliced bread, performed by Eva Marie. Sliced bread is a move that has been used by plenty of wrestlers over the years, and it's something that looks fantastic when it's done right. It brings athleticism and stands out during a match because it's so different from anything else that goes on. Eva Marie decided to make that her finisher, calling it the sliced red, in a nod to her hair colour. However, her version ended up being incredibly silly due to how slowly she performed it. This was something she clearly wasn't comfortable doing, therefore the idea of her hitting it is simply laughable. In at number 5, we have the Lightning Fist, performed by John Cena, which was incredibly lame. John Cena is often mocked for his 5 moves of doom. So, in 2018, he pushed the idea that he was going to add another one to it. This ended up being the Lightning Fist, which turned out to be one of the lamest looking moves that have ever been used to close a match. Cena put a lot of drama into this, which is what added to the humour in his defence. He built it all up just before punching someone in the face. with this never looking impactful whatsoever. It just felt incredibly silly to watch. In at number 4, we have the Heart Punch performed by Crush. The Heart Punch was another finisher that just looked so lame that people ended up finding it hilarious. Crush would punch the area of the body where the heart is consistently until his opponent dropped to the mat to be pinned, which was something that never looked great. Considering how much impact that area of the body takes during normal wrestling matches, it made no sense for this to specifically work as a finisher, and that's something that helped to make this incredibly funny. And at number 3, we have the Stink Face. When it comes to silly finishers, it's hard to look past Rikishi's Stink Face. The idea of a wrestler pushing his bottom and rubbing it into the face of his opponent is wild to think about. But that is what Rikishi managed to get over as a finishing move, and we have to give our credit where it's due. Well played, Rikishi. You earned a Hall of Fame off of wiggling your bum in people's faces. Fans would instantly laugh when it happened, mainly because it was seen as something gross. However, credit to Rikishi, as he was able to make this popular, as fans would always respond when he hit it. In number 2, we have the Worm, performed by Scotty 2 Hottie. One of the silliest moves ever was the W-O-R-M, which was something that had such a long and tedious setup that it was always impossible to believe Scotty 2 Hottie's opponent was staying down for that long. However, the dancing around he'd do before hitting that finisher did tend to win audiences over, as you'd expect. Fans would always get behind the move because Scotty 2 Hottie would put a lot of effort into engaging the crowd. However, that doesn't stop the move itself from looking incredibly silly. And in number 1, we have the Caterpillar. Otis is another wrestler with a silly finisher, which is similar to the Worm, in the sense that it takes a lot of build-up, with Otis effectively doing the Worm dance move before dropping an elbow onto his opponent. It's something that makes fans laugh, but it isn't one of the most effective finishers. The thing that makes this even sillier for Otis is the fact that he's a genuine powerhouse. While he likes to tap into the comedic aspect of professional wrestling, that doesn't mean he should do it as his finisher, because Otis could bring something so much more devastating. And there you have it, there's our list. So what did you think? What do you think is the silliest wrestling finisher of all time? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button and the notification bell to make sure you always see when the latest videos are dropped here on a wrestling club. And be sure to share this around with your friends and family. Welcome them into the club here, where we talk all things wrestling. But until next time, I'd just like to thank you for watching, and I'd like to welcome you into the club.